The Reach High Scholars Program was started in 2007 to provide resources supplemental to those that the school district in Raymond was in a position to provide. We provide a continuum of initiatives that start after the 7th grade in the middle school and continue through to graduation from the high school. The program prepares students to be in better position to be accepted at top colleges that provide excellent educations and have significant financial aid resources available for the students. The program goes to considerable length to convince students and their parents that this kind of an education can be obtained from a town like Raymond without money being a significant showstopper. To be successful in the program requires considerable work not only by the students but also by their parents. The outcome of this work can have a meaningful impact on the life of the students over a long period. We'd like you to hear directly from some former Raymond High School students about their experiences with the Reach High Scholars Program as well as their life currently at top colleges.
I'm the parent of a junior that's involved in the Reach High Scholars Program, as well as an 8th grader who's involved in the Raymond Roundtables program. As a parent in today's generation, I can say without a doubt that becoming prepared and aware of college selection and being able to determine a college that you're going to go to is much different. That process is much different today than it was when I was a graduating senior in high school. Unlike when I was determining what school that I wanted to attend, where I would just simply go down to my high school guidance office and my counselor would show me a wall full of pamphlets of different schools and brochures that were sent to the high school to pass out to students. Today's high school student faces a much more competitive market for their education. There are many very, very good colleges, but there are also very many good candidates that these colleges are seeking and are much more selective when they're choosing who they're going to have as students at their college. The very best colleges, in some cases, only accept 10% or less of their applicants. It is possible for Raymond students to be accepted to these highly selective colleges where they will get a great education and will have the opportunity to get significant financial aid. However, this comes at the expense of both the parents and the students putting hard work and effort into that cause. So this hard work begins in middle school and continues through a student's high school career.
So to really talk about what I think the Reach High Scholars Program is about, I kind of have to go back and really talk about what my involvement with the program was and how I got involved. I was asked one time after class by one of my English teachers, so like, where do you want to go to college? At the time I really knew of 2 schools. I knew of UNH and Harvard. So I told her that I wanted to go to those schools. And she sort of began asking me like why that was, and I didn't really have any other reason besides like those are the schools I know of. At that point I was just really acting on what I knew about college, which is very little. I mean, I knew of a couple of schools and I wasn't really factoring in other factors into my decisions. Wasn't factoring in like size or location or different programs that the college had. So I began researching other colleges, reading, like picking up books about colleges, going on college visits, and just really thinking about where it was that I wanted to go and what schools appealed to me and what schools didn't appeal to me. And also, I think, creating an awareness of the process that goes into gaining access into these opportunities, because it is a process. I mean, there's no just one single step that you take and then you're you end up at a good college.
The Reach High Scholars Program definitely gave me the resources within the building to speak to the right people, the right peers, to really figure out what were the best steps to come after college. It allowed me to find a group of people within this building, whether it was other students or whether it was teachers or people outside the school who were willing to help really get students like me and students in this building prepared for the process that is the college process. The Reach High Scholars Program helped me identify the right questions to explore, and then once I could start exploring them, helped me figure out how to answer the questions that I needed to be successful after high school.
The program provides several initiatives that are unique for a community the size of Raymond, and probably cannot be found in any other school district in the state of New Hampshire.
I think what the Reach High Scholars Program really provides is access to certain initiatives that allow us to distinguish ourselves from other people who are applying to these same schools. Because again, it is incredibly selective, and there are people who are applying who have just as good grades as you do, or just as good SAT scores, but it becomes a matter of what have you done that makes you a distinguished candidate for application to or acceptance to these schools.
The Reach High Scholars Program has a website with an enormous amount of information available to help students and parents navigate the college admission process. We have several summer academic enrichment programs, both in Raymond and at educational institutions in New England. The first of these programs that students have available to them starts after the 7th grade and is for rising 8th graders, 9th graders, and 10th graders. Raymond Roundtables takes place here in Raymond. It's supervised by Phillips Exeter Academy, and the courses are taught by a combination of Exeter teachers, Phillips Exeter's teachers, and Raymond middle, and eventually in the near future high school teachers will be doing it. Roundtables is not for Johnny who flunked algebra. It's to encourage students to learn that learning is fun, and they take math and English courses in a method of teaching that is used throughout Phillips Exeter Academy. 12 students and a teacher around a round table. The students teach each other and themselves. The teacher who is present just facilitates the discussion. Raymond High School is one of 4 schools in the country in a program called Summer Enrichment at Dartmouth, or SEED, S-E-A-D. In that program, a cohort of 8 Raymond students go, starting after their freshman year, for 4 consecutive summers to Dartmouth for 2 or 3 weeks, and have a Dartmouth student here in the high school to help them with their studies during the school year and help the high school generally with college awareness. In addition to the SEED program, we have 3 others that students from Raymond go to, typically starting after their sophomore year of high school. Phillips Exeter's summer school, the Advanced Studies program at St. Paul's School, and summer at Brown, which is at Brown University. In recent summers, we've had, on average, about 15 students a year attending these summer enrichment programs.
For me, the Exeter experience was remarkably eye-opening because it meant I had exposure to a different type of student. When I was at Exeter, students were going to school for the summer, and that meant that it was students who wanted to be going to school outside of their normal school period, and it was a program full of students who were just excited to be learning a little bit extra, excited to be meeting new people, and excited to just really be doing something different than they were used to in school. For me, Phillips Exeter meant it opened my eyes, I guess, to the world outside of Raymond High School, and the fact that other students from other types of high school had similar interests and different interests, but you could always, work together in a group of different people, diverse people. And it opened my eyes to the fact that that's what college could be like. It didn't have to be, so basic and so generic. It gave me the experience to realize that there was so much more out there and that I could really reach for something. I didn't necessarily think that Phillips Exeter would be exactly like college would be, but I think it made me realize that the kind of student I found there would be the kind of student I could associate myself with after high school and in college, and really use like my relationship with those kinds of students to prosper and to enjoy college and to end up in a successful place.
My scholars program definitely inspired me to be the best student I could be on a daily basis. It's taking the most difficult classes I can take and doing well in them, and that almost naturally led to the summer programs I partook in at Exeter and St. Paul's. And at those summer programs, these almost mock college experiences, I was developing a sense of where I wanted to be and who I wanted to be, and besides that, it was substantial for a student from Raymond High School to do those things, because it was showing you're taking initiative beyond the resources available to you at your high school. On a couple of my acceptance letters, there were handwritten notes saying, like, good job with your work at St. Paul's, and just making a note that what I did was noticed in the admissions office as extraordinary, and that has absolutely made a huge difference in where I am today.
The summer after my sophomore year, I went to the Phillips Exeter summer session, which is a 5-week program that takes place at Phillips Exeter. So I lived there for 5 weeks, and I took classes. The program is for 7th to 12th graders, and it takes students from all over the world. The summer after my junior year, I went to the Advanced Studies program at St. Paul's School in Concord, which is also a 5-week program, but it's just for rising seniors from New Hampshire high schools. Going to Exeter as a rising junior, after I had really started to think about college and really started to identify the type of school that I wanted, and college for me was becoming more of a possibility than it ever was. Going to Exeter when I did really made me just sort of aware of just what that experience would be like, what it would be like to be at a school where I was living there, and what it would be like to be at a school where I was with like-minded people who cared about learning and wanted to learn just for the sake of learning. It was a sort of a little preview of what that was going to be like, and I left the program looking forward to college and also feeling incredibly motivated to get to the type of college where that could happen.
We also have in Raymond High School an SAT boot camp. In the fall, there's a course of 4 weeks for seniors to have one last preparation before taking the SAT tests, perhaps for the second or third time, or maybe for the first time. And there is also a 3-week course for sophomores and juniors to prepare for the PSAT test. In the winter, we have a course that will be for 13 weeks this winter for juniors to prepare very thoroughly for the SAT tests. Raymond is perhaps the only high school in the state that has that kind of a program on the premises to prepare for these very important college admission tests. It's done on very concessionary pricing. The Raymond students who do, the juniors for instance, who do all 16 weeks available to them, pay less than $300 for a product that typically would cost $1,500 to $2,000.
One of the most important initiatives of the Reach Higher Scholars Program is the SAT prep course that we do, what we call the SAT Boot Camp, that runs through the winter. For me, it was incredibly important because, when I started thinking about taking the SAT, I wasn't really aware of the fact that you could even study for it. I thought it was just something that you took, and if you did well in it, you did well, and if not, well, that's too bad, and you're pretty much in trouble. I think we're one of the few schools that have access to it, especially for such a low cost. I mean, you pay around I don't know, 1,500, 2,000, even more sometimes to take these courses. We offer it for a small fraction of the cost, and that just allows you to be on equal footing with a lot of these people who are applying to these schools, because the SAT it's only one factor in the college applications, but it is still a factor, and it's sort of one of the few factors that everyone is sort of judged by and everyone shares.
Another important initiative of the program is the Reach High Scholars Club, a student extracurricular activity that meets weekly with a faculty advisor at the high school.
So I think one of the most important extracurricular activities that you can be involved in at Raymond High School is the Reach High Scholars Club. The idea is that students are talking to each other about the college application process and the different factors that go into it, and then students are sharing experiences about college visits and going to these different programs, and I think there's a sort of a mentorship that's established in the sense that older students are talking to younger students about their experiences and giving advice and also answering questions and just sort of talking about what they would have done differently or the different things that they did. And I think that's really important for students to hear that from other students, in addition to hearing different things from parents or different things from teachers. All the meetings are run under the guidance of Ms. Doyle, and she will identify certain things that we're going to be talking about during the day. During the meeting, certain things will be in the agenda. One program will be talking about summer programs, and one will be talking about SAT preparation or ACT preparation.
One further thing we do is promote college visits by students and parents, hopefully going with them, and we subsidize some of the costs of those trips, as well as costs of fees that have to be paid to take tests and college application fees and so forth.
College visits, which are a very important part of the college admissions process, should begin when the student is a sophomore. This actually is less stressful. It takes the pressure off the student and allows for the college visit experience to be positive. Both parents and students should participate in the college visits because it provides for the opportunity for the student and the parent to bond through the experience and also gain a better understanding of each other's expectations. It's recommended that parents and students visit a minimum of 15 to 20 colleges to round out their experience and to see as many as possible without making a decision on one or another early in the process. It's quite common these days for students to apply to 8 to 10 colleges. Therefore, seeing as many as 15 or 20 help in that process. Many colleges require interviews, and these are very beneficial in helping to distinguish the student. In many cases, they can be arranged in advance of a college visit. The Reach High Scholars Program can help organize these college visits and has a program in place to help offset some of the related transportation expenses. The Reach High Scholars Program has initiatives that supplement those that the school district provides to help students become better candidates during the admissions process. These initiatives, starting in middle school, are interrelated and are most beneficial when students participate in as many of them as possible.
Participating in summer programs like Phillips Exeter and excelling at something outside of academics, which for me was track, really gave me an advantage in admissions and a little bit of a distinguishing factor over other college applicants in admissions. Sponsorship from a coach in the admissions process is definitely an advantage for students when it comes to really getting into the college or university of your choice.
When I first became a part of the Reach High Scholars Program, all I knew about college was that it was expensive. The more I talked to Mr. McDaniels and got a feel for the type of school that I'd see myself at, the first thing I'd look at was a price tag, and I'd see $50,000 a year, $60,000 a year, and I would think, Christ, do my parents even make that much a year? When I first started looking at colleges and getting a feel for what school would be good for me with the help of the Reach High Scholars Program, I would be looking at the price tags and seeing $50,000 a year, $60,000 a year, and think, how could I possibly make this work? And I learned through the Reach High Scholars program that the price tag is by no means what you'll actually be paying if you're going to a school that has a large enough endowment to support you. Just based on my own acceptance letters, I was accepted to a New Hampshire school and a Vermont school, both with a sticker price around $30,000, $40,000. But the expectation was that I am fully responsible for that money, whether it's taking out government loans or just paying out of pocket. Where I go to school now, Hobart College, it does have a higher sticker price of close to $55,000. But the expectation is that there's no way I can possibly pay for that. I just don't have the money, and I need significant help. And they've given me significant help in the form of grants and scholarships. And I take out very modest government loans, and I am only responsible for less than $1,000 a year out of pocket.
So being at a competitive, small liberal arts school automatically puts me in a pool of people who are passionate and dedicated and disciplined about whatever their interests are. Being on a sports team at this kind of institution means I'm with peers who are even more dedicated and even more disciplined and even more invested in representing their college and making connections with their college and being a part of their college after they're gone. Even after they're graduated from Trinity, they're the kids who are invested in the relationships they've made, the networks they've created, and the experiences they've had.
And because some people do pay the full sticker price, and because of Hobart's large endowment, there are some tremendous resources available to me. Hobart is a very small student-to-faculty ratio, so I know my professors and they know me in a very personal and nurturing way. We have very top-notch facilities. We're in the process of building a new performing arts center. I'm going to be going to Japan in a few weeks. It's fully funded through Hobart. And when I do go to Taiwan in the fall to study abroad, it's because of scholarships that are supplemental for study abroad. It'll cost me less than a semester at Hobart would. Between my summer in Japan and my fall in Taiwan, as well as things available to me at Hobart, like the Chinese language courses I take, I'm pursuing a path that will lead to a diplomatic career focused on Asia, which without those resources, I wouldn't be able to become that person.
So the Reach High Scholars program ended up giving me the tools that helped me really navigate the college process, colleges in general, and helped me end up at the college that is just ideal for me.
The Reach High Scholars program has a lot of opportunities and initiatives in place for students and parents to take advantage of. And I encourage parents to become involved in their child's college selection process and help them take control of their destiny.
I think one of the main premises of the Reach High Scholars program is that it can be done from Raymond, that it is possible for students from Raymond High School to attend highly competitive colleges at an affordable cost and have a very enriching experience there. I've heard from many students and parents, including myself and my parents, that they just weren't aware of the opportunities that were available to them until they started getting involved with the program and they started getting the information. And I think the program is just about communicating this information to students and to parents and making students realize that it is possible and that it is well within their reach.
The benefits of the Reach High Scholars program are evident from the college results in the past 4 or 5 years of students that were active in the program. There were close to 50 of them who have graduated from Raymond High School, gone to many of the best colleges in the country with significant financial aid, and they're getting a great education. In many cases, they're going to colleges better than they ever would have imagined when they started in the program. We encourage Raymond students, starting in the middle school right up through high school, and their parents to take as much advantage as they can of the Reach High Scholars program. You can start by visiting the website, attending meetings, and very importantly, talking to your friends and neighbors who've already benefited from the program. It requires some hard work, but remember the words of Samuel Goldwyn, the former movie tycoon, who said, "The harder I work, the luckier I get." We have a lot of lucky students who've gone through our program.